Hey readers, before you continue with this video, make sure you have already clicked the link for our excerpts from Home of the Brave. Before you watch this video, you should have listened to the next couple of sections. You should be up to lessons, so you should have listened to today, Welcome to Minnesota, up to lessons. If you have not yet done that, you need to go back to Google Classroom and listen to that. If you have already done that, go ahead and open up your notebook to the chart we already glued in before called Writing Well About Reading. So this is the chart that you started to write in last week. You took some notes. Go ahead and open that now. So in previous lessons, we've been talking about our new year, setting some reading goals, talking about reading with wide awake eyes so that we're able to write about our reading and deepen our understanding. So in our new year, we've been here for a while, and our reading, our writing, and our thinking have already become deeper and they've already become more mature. So take a look at this anchor chart we just opened to. Look at what we've been doing so far. So writing well about reading. We've been reading knowing that we're going to write, which makes us see more. We've been reading the upcoming text with the ideas that we've already wrote about, keeping them in mind so that we can add on to those ideas. What we're going to add new to it, don't write these yet, I'll tell you to pause, but we're going to aim to notice more elements of the story. So don't just say, I noticed one thing, I'm good to go, and move on. We want to notice more. We want to push ourselves to grow new ideas. So once you notice something in the story, how is that going to follow throughout the story and grow? And then finally, we want to use our own thinking, and we want to use an exploring voice as we're reading and as we're writing about our reading. Go ahead, pause the video, and write down these 3 new notes. Aim to notice, push yourself, and use your own thinking. Press play once you have finished. So we should have these 3 new notes written down. Those are the only notes you'll have to write down today. So today, I want to teach you that once readers settle on an idea about a text worth developing, they think, where does this idea live in the text? Then they reread those selected passages extremely closely, expecting each to be a gold mine of new insights related to their initial idea. So what in the world do I mean by this? We're going to take a look at the section, God with a Wet Nose. So this is something that we've already read, we've listened to, and I started to develop ideas about it in our Lesson 3 video. So taking a look at this, you actually have a copy of this with you as well, God with a Wet Nose, pages 13, 14, 15, and 16. Last time when we read these sections, we decided that Keck, our main character, was thoughtful. We decided that he's poetic, and we decided that he was showing us his old life. So what we need to do as readers are follow these 3 steps. This is the chart that I had you glue into your notebook today as well. So to develop those 3 ideas, we need to read, generating many ideas about the text. Choose one to develop. So we are going to develop the ideas that he's showing us his old life, that he's thoughtful, that he's poetic. We need to think, where does this idea live in the text? So we need to go back to the text and figure out what made us think that. Where did we find it? And then we're going to reread, mining it for new insights about the idea. Repeat with another passage. So that means we're reading it, and we're going to see if we can develop that idea even more. So we're looking at this section knowing that he's thoughtful, poetic, and he's showing us pieces of his old life. We're going to see where we found that, and we're going to see if we can grow that idea a little bit more. So let's take a look at this section here. God with a Wet Nose. We park by the side of the fast car road. Walking through the snow is hard work, like wading across a river wild with rain. The cow is near a fine, wide-armed, good-for-climbing tree. To say the truth of it, she is not the most beautiful of cows. Her belly sags, and her coat is scarred, and her face tells me she remembers sweeter days. My father would not have stood for such a weary old woman in his herd, and yet to see her here in this strange land makes my eyes glad. In my old home back in Africa, cattle mean life. I'm going to star that right away because he just gave us a glimpse of his old life. Cattle mean life. In your text, please mark it the same way that I did. They are our reason to rise with the sun, to move with the rains, to rest with the stars. They are the way we know our place in the world. The cow looks past me. I can see that she's pouting, with only snow and dead grass to keep her company. I like this line here. I can see that she's pouting, because I think that's a really interesting description of a cow. That's very thoughtful and poetic of him. I shake my head. A cow can be trouble with her slow, stubborn body, her belly ripe with milk, her pleading eyes that shine at you like silver rocks in the sun. This is another nice description that he's using. An old woman comes out of the barn. She's carrying a bucket. 2 chickens trot behind her, scolding and fussing. The woman waves. Just saying hello to the cow, Dave calls. Let me know if she answers, the woman calls back, and she returns to the barn. We should go, Dave says. Your aunt is expecting us. A little longer, I say. Please? I know cattle are important to your people, Dave says. Again, he tries to use my words. A man I helped to settle here taught me a saying from Africa. I bet you would like it. A cow is God with a wet nose. I laugh. We wait. The wind sneaks through my coat. My teeth shiver. I take off a glove and hold out my hand. And at last the cow comes to me. She moos, a harsh and mournful sound. I'm going to underline that too because that's a really nice description of an ordinary animal. It isn't the fault of the cow. She doesn't know another way to talk. She can't learn the way I'm learning, word by slow, slow word. And I'm going to mark this one too because he's giving us a glimpse of his life and what he's going through right now. I stroke her cold, wet coat, and for a moment I hold all I've lost and all I want right here in my hand. I'm going to underline all I've lost because that's giving us a glimpse of how he's feeling. So if you didn't quite catch all those notes, feel free to rewind so you can mark your text the same as mine. So we're going to take a look at another section. So you also have the pages to Welcome to Minnesota. So you have page 17, you have page 18, and you have page 19. Now you should have listened to this already in the YouTube video above this post. What I would like you to do in a moment is you're going to read these. And I want to know, what thoughts do you have about our character in these passages? Is he continuing to show us his old life? Is he starting to show us his new life? What is he showing us about himself? So please feel free, mark up your passage, write some notes in it, and then come back to this video. Press play when you're ready. So now that you may have gone through your passage, there are some pieces here that are showing me a bit of his old life. So you may have read this part already. I'm going to jump to page 18 and 19 because I noticed something really cool in here. I'm not sure of the answer, so I make my shoulders go up and down. Catch, he says. And she throws a cold white ball to me. It falls apart in my hands. I follow Dave across the noisy snow. 2 times I slip and fall. 2 times I rise, pants wet, knees burning. Take it slow, buddy, Dave says. Tears trace my cheeks like tiny knives. I look away so Dave will not see my shame. How can I trust this place where even the ground plays tricks? This paragraph here I noticed because he's really struggling with his new life. So I'm going to write struggling. Did you notice that about him too? Although he's trying to move on, he's struggling with his new life in America. Inside, we climb up many stairs. We walk down a long hall, passing door after door. Dave knocks on one of them, and behind it I hear the muffled voices of my past. Much time has come and gone, but still I know the worn, gray voice of my mother's sister, Nyatel. I hear another voice, too, the sound of a young man, a strong man. The door opens, and my old life is waiting on the other side. This last passage was important to me, too, because it's like he's opening a door to the next chapter of his life. What I'd like you to do is, on this YouTube video, leave a comment. What did you notice about our character in those sections? What are you noticing about Kek, our main character? So today, as you're reading, I want to know, what are you noticing about the characters in your story as well? Now, you won't be writing in your book, but feel free to grab a sticky note if something jumps out to you. So what do you notice about the characters in your own story, and how can you build upon the ideas that maybe you formed last week? You have a reading response to complete for this week. You need to do at least 2. So that can be 1 today, but no more than 1 today. So I'm wondering, what are you thinking? What are you noticing about the characters in your story? Enjoy your reading today.